The night was not dark, it burned. The colony on the edge of the alien frontier was a sea of fire and smoke. Buildings had collapsed into ash, streets were filled with twisted metal, and the sky was still shaking from the thunder of alien cannons. War had ended here hours ago. But no one alive could tell that story. Every man, every woman, every soldier of the human outpost had fallen. The enemy, the cruel and merciless alien force, had swept through with fire and iron. They did not come to conquer. They came to erase. The air was heavy, carrying the stench of blood and smoke. Among the ruins, silence had finally taken control. Silence, except for one sound. A cry. At first, it was weak, barely noticeable, a whimper in the distance. But slowly, in the broken night, the cry grew louder. A desperate, helpless sound. A sound that should not have survived. It was the cry of a child. Beneath the shattered remains of what had once been a home, a small human baby lay in the rubble. His face was dirty, covered with dust. His tiny hands shook as he waved them weakly in the air. His voice, though fragile, refused to fade. The baby had no protector now. His parents were gone. His people were gone. Yet still he cried, and somewhere above, hidden in the blackened clouds, alien eyes were watching. The alien commander stood tall on the remains of a collapsed wall. His body was armored in black metal, his face hidden behind a mask that hissed. With each breath, his soldiers, creatures with scaled skin and cruel yellow eyes, stood beside him. They had won. The outpost was gone. Victory was theirs, but one of the soldiers tilted his head. His ears twitched. He turned sharply. "Commander," he hissed. "There is sound." The alien commander listened. At first, he heard only the crackle of fire. But then there it was, a thin cry. Weak, small, a human infant, the soldier sneered. "One still lives." The commander raised his clawed hand. "Bring it." The alien warriors moved quickly, tearing away stone and steel until the rubble opened. There, they found the child. Small, helpless, dirty, but alive. The baby blinked up at them with wide eyes. He did not understand fear. He did not know what these towering creatures were. He only cried louder. One soldier reached down and lifted the baby by his fragile arm. The child whimpered and struggled, but he was too weak. The alien soldier raised the infant up, as though presenting him to the commander. "Shall we finish it?" he asked. His voice was eager, cruel. The commander looked down at the tiny human. The child's face was red, his mouth open wide as he cried. A pause stretched in the air. The soldier's claws twitched, waiting for the order. Finally, the commander's voice came, cold and sharp. "No, leave it. It is weak. It will not live. Let death take it slowly." The soldier looked confused, but the commander cut him off. "We are not executioners of the pathetic. We came to destroy warriors, not to waste energy on the dying." "Throw it back." The soldier obeyed. With a flick of his arm, he tossed the child back into the rubble. The baby hit the ground with a soft thud and wailed louder. The aliens turned. Their mission was done. Soon, their ships would rise and leave this place in ruins. Behind them, the child continued to cry. The night stretched on. The fires burned low. The baby cried until his voice cracked, and still no one came. The world should have forgotten him there. A child abandoned on a dead battlefield. But the universe had other plans far above, in the cold silence of the stars. Something stirred, something ancient, something that had not been seen for generations. Wings, massive wings, blacker than the night sky, cut through the void. Scales that shimmered like fire moved beneath the starlight. Eyes older than empires opened, glowing like molten gold. The dragons had heard the cry. For centuries, the dragons had been silent. Many believed them extinct. Others believed they had retreated beyond the edge of the galaxy, leaving mortals to fight their endless wars alone. But the dragons had not vanished. They had only been waiting, watching, listening. And now, the sound of a helpless human child had reached them. A sound pure and desperate. A sound they could not ignore. The first dragon descended, its wings spreading wider than the ruins of the colony. Fire glowed between its jaws as it landed among the ashes. The ground trembled beneath its weight, its massive head lowered. Golden eyes stared into the rubble where the baby lay. The baby stopped crying for a moment. He looked up. He did not scream. He did not fear. His tiny hand reached out, as if he wanted to touch the great beast. The dragon blinked. For a moment, the ancient fire in its chest softened. The child was weak, fragile, alone, yet alive. The dragon rumbled, a deep sound like thunder. Another shadow swept across the sky as a second dragon descended. Then a third. Soon, the ruins of the human colony were surrounded by the mighty creatures of legend. They did not speak in words, but their roars carried meaning. One of them survives. He calls to us. He is ours to protect. Far away, the alien fleet prepared to leave orbit. But the commander felt something, a tremor in the stars, a shift in the air. He turned his gaze to the burning colony below. And there, he saw them, shapes moving in the fire. Shapes too large, too powerful, too terrible to be real. Dragons. The commander froze. His soldiers whispered in fear. They had heard of the dragons in ancient tales. Stories of firestorms and skies burning. Stories of a race so powerful that entire empires had fallen before their wrath. The commander's voice was low, almost a whisper. It cannot be. They were gone. But they were not gone. They were here, and they had come for the child. The baby lay safe beneath the shadow of the dragons. His cries faded into soft whimpers. One dragon lowered its head and gently wrapped its claw around him, lifting him carefully. Despite its size, the creature held the infant as though he were made of glass. The child blinked, his small hand touching the dragon's scaled nose. A spark of warmth passed between them. The dragons roared together, a sound that shook the very stars. The war was not over. It had only begun, and the aliens had just made the greatest mistake in their history. The ground shook again as the second dragon landed beside the ruins. Its claws crushed broken metal. Its wings folded slowly, spreading ash into the night air. The fires around the colony flickered as if they feared the beasts. The baby in the first dragon's grip had stopped crying. His tiny chest rose and fell with soft breaths. His small eyes were fixed on the enormous golden eye that watched him closely. For a long time, there was silence. The silence of decision. The dragons stood tall, their shadows covering the entire battlefield. The flames around them looked like candles compared to their size. These were not ordinary creatures. They were beings from a time before humans walked the stars. They were the keepers of ancient oaths, forgotten by most of the galaxy. The first dragon lowered its massive head and spoke not in human words, not in alien language, but in a voice of fire and thought that only the others could hear. The child calls to us. The second dragon replied, its voice a rolling storm. He is fragile. He will not live long. A third dragon landed with a crash, its body covered in black scales like obsidian stone. Its wings spread wide before folding. Its voice was deep and heavy, yet his cry reached across the stars. That is not weakness, that is will. The baby reached out again with his tiny hand. His fingers brushed against the dragon's nose. The great beast blinked slowly, as if stunned by such innocence. Then, the sky above roared with a different thunder. Alien ships high in orbit. The alien commander stared at the sight below. His soldiers shifted nervously, their scaled faces pale. Under the glow of their ship's lights, "Commander," one whispered. "It is them, the old ones, the fireborn, the dragons." The commander's claws clenched. His mask hissed with every breath. He wanted to deny it, to say it was impossible. The dragons were supposed to be gone, their kind vanished into myths. But the truth burned in front of his eyes. The child they had abandoned had summoned monsters greater than anything in there. "Records, prepare the fleet," the commander ordered. His voice was sharp, forced. "We will destroy them before they awaken fully." "But Commander, do it." The alien ships shifted, their weapons powering. The hunt was about to begin, on the ground. The dragons lifted their heads. They could feel the power gathering above. They could taste the weapons aimed at them. One dragon let out a hiss of smoke. "They are coming for us," another roared in anger. "They dare raise fire against us again." The leader, the great golden-eyed beast who held the baby, lowered its gaze. The child yawned softly, unaware of the storm building around him. Dragon spoke, its voice steady, ancient, and filled with command. "Then let them come. Let the sky remember what it means to burn." The first wave of alien ships descended. They came fast, hundreds of sleek black vessels streaking through the clouds. Their weapons glowed like suns, ready to erase everything. Below the dragons spread their wings. The ground shook under the force. Dust and ash rose like storms. The baby whimpered, but the golden dragon shielded him with its wing. Then the first alien weapons fired. Beams of white-hot plasma cut through the air. Explosions shattered the ruins. Fireballs rose where the colony had once stood. But the dragons did not fall. The second dragon, the storm-voiced one, opened its jaws. A blast of flame poured out, flame so bright it riveled the stars. The fire struck the alien ships, cutting through shields, burning metal, melting entire squadrons in seconds. The sky turned red. The aliens screamed as their vessels spun out of control. Dozens of them exploded, raining fire down on the battlefield. Other dragons joined in. Some breathed fire that split the clouds. Others roared with such force that the shockwaves shattered ships into pieces. Their winds cut through the air, creating storms that knocked enemy craft from the sky. It was not a battle. It was slaughter. The commander watched from orbit, his jaw clenched in fury. "Impossible," he muttered. "They cannot be this strong." They cannot, but his soldiers were not blind. They saw their fleets burning. They saw dragons tearing through technology as if it were nothing. "Commander," one stammered, "if they rise fully, our kind will not survive." The commander's claws scratched against the control desk. He stared at the child being shielded. By the largest dragon, his eyes narrowed. "It is that infant. The beasts protect him. That child is the key. Take him, and the beasts will fall." The soldiers hesitated. "You want us to steal it?" "From them," the commander growled. "We have stealth teams. Deploy them. While the beasts fight, the child will be taken." On the ground, the dragons tore through the skies with fury. Their roars echoed across the ruins, shaking mountains far away. The air was fire, the earth was ash. The baby lay wrapped in the golden dragon's claw. He was safe, but even in his small heart, he could sense the chaos. His eyes widened at the explosions. His lips trembled. The dragon lowered its head. For a moment, its voice softened. "Do not fear, little one. We are here." But even as it spoke, something unseen crept closer. The alien stealth team moved through the shadows. They wore black armor that bent light, making them almost invisible. Their footsteps were silent, their breathing masked. While their fleets distracted the dragons above, these assassins crept through the ruins below. And their target was the child. The first assassin stopped behind a broken wall. Through the smoke, he saw it, the infant in the dragon's claw. The creature's massive body shielded him, but the assassin's orders were clear. The child must be taken. He raised a weapon that shimmered with alien energy. It was not meant to kill, it was meant to cut space itself, creating a silent tier. A trap, a prison. Slowly he crawled forward. Another assassin followed, then another. The golden dragon's head turned suddenly. Its eyes narrowed. A low growl shook the ground. It sensed danger. The assassins froze. For a heartbeat, silence ruled again. Then the assassin struck. One leapt from the shadows, firing the weapon. A beam of shimmering light shot toward the baby. The dragon roared and twisted, but the beam grazed past its wing and struck the rubble nearby. The ground split open with an unnatural glow. The other assassins charged, blades of energy in their hands. The golden dragon snapped its jaws, crushing 2 assassins instantly. Fire poured over another, turning him into ash. But in the chaos, one assassin slipped through. He reached the baby. Tiny eyes blinked up at the dark figure. A small hand reached, not in fear, but in confusion. The assassin grabbed him. The child let out a cry, louder than before. The golden dragon's head whipped around. Its roar split the air, louder than thunder, angrier than a storm. But the assassin pressed a device. A flash of light swallowed him and the child, and in the blink of an eye they were gone. The dragon's roar shook the heavens. Flames burst from its jaws in rage. Its wings tore the air as it thrashed. The other dragons roared as well, their cries of fury echoing across the battlefield. The child was gone. Above, the alien commander watched the flash appear on his screens. A slow, cruel smile spread across his face. At last, he whispered, "The key is ours." But he did not know what storm he had just unleashed, for the dragons were no longer simply defending. They were now filled with wrath. The sky was about to burn unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The alien fleet was in chaos. Their ships burned in the skies, wrecks falling like dying stars. But inside the command ship, the alien commander did not see defeat. He saw victory, for in his clawed hands, wrapped inside a containment pod, was the human infant. The baby cried, his tiny fists pressing against the glowing walls of his prison. His voice was small compared to the thunder of war outside, but to the commander, that cry was louder than fire. He leaned closer, his masked face inches from the child. His voice hissed through the mask, "You are no ordinary spawn. You called them, the dragons, the destroyers of empires. Your kind should have died here, yet you live. Why?" The baby only cried louder. The commander stared for a long moment, then turned to his soldiers. "Take it below. Study it. If the beasts want it, then it is power, and power belongs to us." The soldiers bowed, carrying the infant away far below. On the burning colony, the dragons roared with rage. Their wings beat storms into the air. Fire poured from their jaws, consuming everything in their path. But even as they destroyed ship after ship, their hearts were not in the battle. Their fury came from loss. The golden dragon, the leader, raised its head and roared so loud the earth cracked beneath it. Its eyes glowed brighter than molten steel. "They have taken him." The dragon cried in the voice of thought. The others roared back, flames burning hotter than ever. The sky itself seemed to tremble under their anger. "We will burn their fleets. We will tear their world apart." But the leader shook its head. "No, fire without aim is wasted. They will run with him. They will hide. We must hunt." The storm-voiced dragon growled, "Then we will hunt, and none will survive our wrath." Their wings spread wide, shaking the ash into the air. And together, the dragons launched upward, chasing the stars. Inside the alien command ship, the baby was placed in a chamber of cold steel. Strange lights scanned his body. Machines hummed and clicked. Alien scientists with long fingers and scaled faces circled him like predators. They poked and prodded. They whispered in their tongue. "He carries resonance," one hissed. "The signal is alive within him," said another. "His cries, they are not just sound, they are energy." The baby whimpered, his eyes wide and wet. He was too young to understand fear, but his body trembled from the cold touch of the machines. One scientist reached closer with a needle that glowed green. "We must see what he hides inside." But before the needle could pierce skin, alarms screamed through the ship. The walls shook. The lights flickered. Outside, dragons slammed against the fleet like meteors of fire. The baby cried again, louder than before. His voice rose above the alarms. It echoed through the chamber, shaking the glass of his prison. The scientists froze. Their eyes widened. "The signal," he calls again. In the black sky beyond the battle, a ripple spread through space. Stars seemed to shiver. The void itself trembled. And then, more wings appeared. Dragons, their bodies lit with fire, their scales shining like blades. They came from beyond the edge of sight, answering the infant's cry. The alien commander saw them, and his blood turned cold. His claws dug into the metal of his chair. No, not more of them. But it was too late. The hunt had begun, and the dragons would not stop until their child was returned. The alien fleets tried to regroup. They formed tight formations, shields overlapping. They fired beam after beam, plasma and missiles filling the sky. But the dragons moved like storms. Fire tore through shields, claws ripped ships apart, tails smashed vessels into pieces. There, roars cracked glass and shattered hulls. One alien ship exploded in a flash of light as 3 dragons ripped it apart at once. Another was crushed between wings larger than cities. The commander barked orders, his mask hissing. "Fall back. Protect the command ship. The infant must not be taken." But deep inside, he knew the truth. His fleet could not withstand the storm. In the cold chamber, the baby's cries grew stronger. His small hands pressed against the glowing glass, and cracks began to form. The scientists panicked. The energy containment failing. The glass shattered with a burst of light. The baby fell onto the cold steel floor, still crying. But something strange flickered around him, tiny sparks of fire, like embers dancing in the air. The scientists staggered back in fear. One whispered, "He carries their flame." The golden dragon struck the command ship like a hammer from the gods. Its claws dug into the hull, its fire melted steel. The ship groaned as alarms screamed louder. Inside, soldiers ran through corridors, weapons ready. They fired at the dragon, tearing through the walls, but their beams bounced off its scales. The baby's cries grew even louder, guiding the beast. The golden dragon's eye peered through the ripped metal. Its gaze fell on the infant. For a heartbeat, the child stopped crying. His small eyes met the dragon's. Recognition. Connection. The dragon roared, a sound of promise. "I am here, little one. I will not fail again." But the alien commander appeared, his claws gripping a massive weapon. A cannon that glowed with unstable energy. He pointed it at the infant. "If you want it," he hissed through his mask, "you will watch it burn." The golden dragon froze. Fire swelled in its chest, but it could not release it. One wrong move, and the weapon would destroy the child. The commander's yellow eyes glared. "You thought this infant was your hope, but now it will be your pain." The baby whimpered, sensing the danger. Sparks flickered again around his body, faint but growing. The commander raised the cannon higher. "Say goodbye to your future." Before he could fire, the ship shook violently. The storm-voiced dragon rammed into the hull, tearing open another section. Fire poured inside, engulfing corridors. Soldiers screamed as they burned. The commander lost his footing for a second. The cannon slipped, firing into the ceiling instead. The blast tore the chamber apart, sending smoke and debris everywhere. The baby cried louder. Sparks around him flared brighter, like a small flame. The golden dragon lunged forward, breaking the walls apart with one strike. Its massive claw reached into the chamber, curling protectively around the child. The commander roared in fury. "No!" he fired again, but the storm-voiced dragon swept its wing, knocking the blast aside. The explosion ripped through another section of the ship, tearing it apart. The golden dragon pulled the baby close against its chest. The sparks of fire vanished, soothed by the warmth of its scales. The infant had been taken back, but the battle was not over. The commander stood, his mask broken, revealing his scarred, scaled face twisted in rage. "You think this is victory? You will not leave alive." He slammed his claw on the console. Across the fleet, ships began to glow red. Energy built inside them. The dragon sensed it immediately. The commander was ordering a last desperate move, self-destruction. A chain reaction that would consume everything, even the child. The golden dragon spread its wings, shielding the infant. The storm-voiced dragon roared in warning. The commander's laughter echoed through the burning ship. "If I cannot keep it, then none will have it." The countdown began. The alien ships lit brighter, each second pushing them closer to destruction. The dragons had moments to escape, but the commander had one final trap. He locked the fleet's engines, creating a cage of burning ships around the dragons. They could not leave without being caught in the explosion. The golden dragon looked down at the baby in its claw. The child had fallen silent, his eyes wide, glowing faintly with the embers of power. The dragon whispered in thought, its voice heavy but certain. "Hold on, little one. We will not let you burn." The dragons gathered together, forming a circle around the leader and the child. Fire burned in their throats, wings folded tightly. Their roars rose, shaking the very stars. They were not fleeing. They were preparing. And when the alien fleet exploded, the sky itself would witness the wrath of dragons like never before. The sky was a cage of fire. Alien ships surrounded the dragons, glowing red with unstable energy. Their cores hummed, building toward destruction. Each ship was now a bomb, waiting to tear the heavens apart. The alien commander, his mask broken and face twisted with scars, stood in the command ship's control chamber. His laughter was sharp and cruel. "You cannot escape," he hissed. "If I cannot win, I will take you with me. The child, the beasts, all of you will burn together." His soldiers looked uneasy. Some even stepped back. But the commander's yellow eyes blazed with madness. He no longer cared for survival. He cared only for denial. On the other side of the burning cage, the dragons roared. The golden dragon cradled the baby close against its chest, shielding him from the chaos. Its wings folded protectively, forming a wall of scale and fire. The child was silent now, his wide eyes glowing faintly, as if reflecting the storm around him. The storm-voiced dragon circled the leader. Its growl was thunder. "The ships will detonate soon. We must break free before the fire consumes all." The black-scaled dragon rumbled with fury. "Then we will tear a path through. Let their own flames meet ours." The golden dragons' eyes burned like molten suns. "No, this is no longer only battle. This is punishment. They have taken what was ours. They have dared to touch what they cannot hold. They will learn what wrath truly is." The alien fleet's countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The commander watched with satisfaction. He believed the dragons trapped. He believed his victory was in their destruction. But the dragons were not creatures of fear. They were not mortals who bent to despair. They were fire-given flesh, wrath-given wings. The golden dragon raised its head and roared. The sound cracked the heavens, shaking every ship in orbit. Flames erupted from its jaws, curling into the shape of a burning storm. The other dragons followed, their roars harmonizing into a terrifying chorus. The combined sound shattered glass, broke combs, and struck terror into every alien heart that heard it. For this was not just rage, this was judgment. The countdown reached 5. The golden dragon spread its wings. Each scale glowed like liquid fire. It looked at its kin, at the storm-voiced, the black-scaled, the dozens more who had answered the infant's cry. Together, it spoke in thought. We are flame, we are storm, we are wrath. Let the galaxy remember. The dragons answered, as one. Their voices rolled like thunder. The countdown reached 3. Then the dragons moved. Flame burst from their throats in rivers. Fire so hot it turned metal to vapor in seconds. Wings beat storms that bent the path of missiles. Claws tore through armored hulls like paper. They did not simply fight. They unleashed. The first wave of alien ships detonated under their fury, exploding too soon, before the commander's plan could finish. The chain reaction spiraled out of control. Blinding light filled the heavens. But in the center of the storm, the dragons stood unbroken. Their fire clashed with the explosions. Their wings shielded the child. The inferno bent around them, unable to consume their fury. Inside the command ship, panic spread. Soldiers screamed, fleeing through corridors as fire poured in. The commander roared at them to stay, but his words meant nothing. The ship trembled as dragons ripped it apart. A massive claw tore through the wall, scattering consuls and warriors. Fire burned everything. The golden dragon's eye glared through the breach. Its roar filled the chamber. The commander raised his cannon, desperate. He fired. The blast struck the dragon's scale but did nothing. It was like throwing sparks at a mountain. The golden dragon leaned closer, its massive head filling the chamber. Its voice rumbled with fury. You touched what is ours. For that, your kind will pay in fire. The commander screamed. No! We are eternal. The dragon's jaws opened. A torrent of flame poured in, drowning his words, his body, his ship, until nothing remained but ash. Across the sky, the last of the alien fleet exploded. Fireballs lit the heavens, raining debris down to the dead colony below. But the dragons soared through the inferno, unharmed, their roars shaking the galaxy. The wrath of dragons had been unleashed, and nothing could stand before it. But wrath does not fade easily. Even as the battlefield fell silent, the dragons did not calm. Their eyes burned hotter than before. Their wings beat storms into the night. The storm-voiced dragon spoke, its words sharp as lightning. They will come again. They will send more fleets, more armies. They will never stop hunting what they cannot control, the black-scaled dragon hissed. Then we will end them at the root. We will burn their world. We will erase their kind as they tried to erase the humans. The golden dragon looked down at the infant in its claw. The child had fallen asleep, his tiny chest rising and falling softly. The faint glow in his eyes faded as he rested, but the dragons knew. Inside him burned something greater than innocence, something ancient, something dangerous. The leader's voice rumbled low. They took him once, they will never touch him again. Their homeworld will burn until even its name is ash. The other dragons roared in agreement, their wings spread as one. Flames lit their jaws. The hunt was not over, it was only beginning. Far across the galaxy, the surviving fragments of the alien fleet limped back to their stronghold. The soldiers whispered in terror. Their commander was gone, their fleets destroyed, and behind them, like shadows in the void, the dragons followed, not quietly, not secretly, but with fire in their wings and wrath in their hearts. The war was moving from a single ruined colony to an entire alien world. And when the dragons descended, the skies of that world would burn red, and its oceans would boil away. For the child was not just a survivor. He was now the flame that would guide their vengeance, and vengeance had only begun. The stars trembled as the war began. Alien fleets stretched across the black sky, their weapons glowing with deadly light. They came with only one purpose: kill the dragons, destroy the child, and erase any chance of hope for humans. But the dragons did not fear. Their wings spread wide, covering the heavens, their scales burning like molten gold and red fire. Their roars shook planets, and even the bravest alien captains felt their hearts tremble. The baby was still inside the Dragon Queen's protective chamber, his tiny hands pressed against the crystal wall of his pod. His eyes glowed faintly, as if the fire of the dragons had already touched his soul. The first strike the aliens fired first. Beams of plasma shot through the void, burning through dust clouds, ripping apart small asteroids. Dozens of blasts rushed toward the dragons. The dragons answered not with fear, but with fire. One by one, their throats lit up with flames older than time itself. The fire was not normal, it was alive, burning brighter than suns, bending space itself. When the dragons unleashed it, alien warships melted like wax. Armor cracked, shields shattered, and entire fleets vanished in storms of red and gold. The aliens screamed through their cums, but their commanders shouted louder. "Do not retreat. Surround them. Kill the beasts before they reach the child." Dragons weaved through the storm. Their wings did not flap like birds. They cut through space as if the universe itself bent to their power. With every roar, another alien cruiser exploded. With every breath, another 1,000 soldiers burned. The desperate gamble, but the aliens were many. For every ship destroyed, 2 more appeared from the dark. Their fleets spread wide, covering the skies in endless black metal. The Dragon Queen knew they could not fight forever. If the baby was captured again, the galaxy would fall into shadow. She turned to her kin. "Protect the child above all. Even if we must burn the stars themselves, he must live." The dragons obeyed. Some created walls of fire around the queen. Others dove deep into alien ranks, tearing through them like lightning, giving their lives to keep the baby safe. Still, the aliens pushed harder. Their motherships, vast as cities, entered the battlefield. From their cores, they released new weapons, shadows of dark energy, designed to eat away even dragon fire. When the dark blasts hit, dragons screamed. Scales cracked, wings tore. Some fell silent forever, their bodies drifting among the stars. The aliens cheered. For the first time they believed they could win. The baby awakens inside his crystal pod. The baby pressed harder against the walls. His eyes shined brighter now. He could feel everything, the fire, the roars, the pain of the dragons dying. He cried. Not a normal cry, but something deeper. His scream echoed like thunder inside the queen's chamber. The queen looked at him, shocked. His tiny body shook, and flames danced across his skin, harmless yet powerful. His blood had already awakened. "This is it," the queen whispered. "The flame has chosen him." The baby's glow spread through the pod, reaching the dragons around him. Their fire grew stronger, their roars louder. The dying rose again, healed by his light. The wounded fought harder. The aliens stared in terror. What is happening? Why? Are they rising again? The baby had become more than human. He was now a flame-bearer, a link between dragon and man. The wrath of the dragons, with new strength. The dragons attacked again. One slammed its claws into a mothership, tearing it apart like paper. Another spun through a fleet, leaving behind a trail of burning wreckage. The queen herself unleashed a roar so powerful that it cracked the alien commander's ship in half. The aliens panicked. They fired everything, but their weapons no longer mattered. Fire covered the void. Their fleets broke apart, retreating in chaos. Still, the dragons did not stop. They chased them into asteroid fields, into nebula clouds, burning them wherever they fled. The queen turned to the baby once more. His glow was fading. He had given too much energy. But his small hand rested calmly against the glass, as if he knew the dragons would finish what he had started. The fall of the alien world. The queen gathered the surviving dragons. The fleets are broken, but their homeworld remains. If we leave them alive, they will rise again. Tonight we end them. The dragons agreed. Together, they flew toward the alien homeworld, a dark planet surrounded by rings of defense. The aliens had prepared for centuries. Their planet bristled with cannons, satellites, and shields. But it did not matter. The dragons were no longer just dragons. They carried the child's fire within them. The first blast from the queen tore through the defense ring like it was made of dust. The second wave of dragons melted entire continents. Alien cities screamed. As towers fell and seas boiled, the sky of the alien world turned red. Their leaders begged for mercy. Their armies collapsed. The queen gave no answer but fire. When the battle ended, nothing remained but ashes. The alien empire was gone, burned away by dragon fire and a child's cry. The legacy of the flame the battlefield grew silent. The last alien ship exploded, drifting into nothingness. The stars were calm again, though the ashes of war floated across them. The queen carried the baby in her claws. She placed him upon her back, where he looked out at the endless stars with glowing eyes. The dragons gathered around. Some bowed. Others whispered ancient words. "This child is more than human," the queen declared. "He carries our fire. He will be raised among us, and one day, he will become the bridge between dragon and man." The baby reached out, touching the queen's scales. The glow in his eyes flickered like flame. The queen looked toward the stars. Aliens thought humans were weak. They thought a child could be left to die. But they were wrong. He's the last flame. And with him, a new age begins. The dragons roared together, their voices shaking the galaxy. Somewhere in the dark, other species listened. Some trembled in fear. Others whispered in awe. Humanity was not gone. Humanity had been reborn in fire, and those who had laughed at the weakness of man would soon learn what it meant to face the child of dragons. Closing, seemed the baby closed his eyes, resting against the warmth of the queen's scales. For the first time since his parents' death, he was safe, but far away. In the cold corners of the galaxy, new enemies were already watching. They saw the fire, they felt the roar, and they knew this child would one day rise. The war was not the end. It was only the beginning. And so the legend began. A human baby, left for dead by aliens, raised by dragons, destined to bring fire to the stars.